Okay, Oscar, we're ready.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. We're gonna start the meeting. Today is Thursday, July 27th, 12 p.m. 12:13 p.m. We're gonna start with the meeting. We can start with the roll call.
Okay, so Mr. Jose Zuniga advised that he was not gonna be able to join today. Mr. Juan Gonzalez,
Present.
Mr. Oscar Lopez,
Present.
Eva Montoya,
Present.
and George Gonzalez.
Present.
So you have a quorum.
Okay, let's move to the next item, citizens' comments. Do we have any today?
As of right now, you don't have any. You can, it is 12:15. You know, you can choose to close that item or leave it open till the end of the meeting.
Okay, we can go ahead and close. Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
Okay, next item, discussion with possible action for the outstanding capstone invoices for services provided and any other matters, incidents, thereto.
So, and I'll leave it to Sarah, of course, but there was some emails that were provided to the board by Capstone saying that they're no longer paying some invoices. They have some outstanding invoices, and some vendors have decided not to provide services. That was provided by, I believe, Sarah Walker or Renata or both.
I think
So if you can elaborate that.
Can you tell us
to the board.
where we're at?
As of today, nothing's been paid. Vendors are not coming on site to give services. We don't have pest control. Chem Aqua was there this morning, and they also just said that they want invoices paid or they'll stop services as well, and that's for the water treatment. We have, of course, Ariano Plumbing won't come on site because we owe them a huge sum of money. The AC people, which is Ramsa, the ones that repaired the motors back in January, are calling, wanting their money. Chem Aqua, Johnson Controls. We're having to do fire watch at the moment because our fire pump is not working properly. We've been having to do fire watch for the last month, and that is incurring a lot of OT. Johnson Control has not given us a tentative date on when the repairs can be done because we owe them money also. So that is
So explain the fire pump, what is that?
the fire pump. We had our annual inspections. The alarm panel was fine, the sprinkler system was fine, the alarm panel was fine. Some deficiencies, nothing major. We were yellow tagged, which is still fine. Fire department is notified of any deficiencies. When the fire pump inspection was done, we were red tagged, meaning that we need to have fire watch 24/7. It's being done in-house by employees, and then we have a security guard company doing the graveyard, meaning from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. daily, every day.
So somebody's sitting there or standing there watching the fire panel?
Just walking the property, making sure that if there is an incident, that the alarm goes off, that somebody's there until the fire department comes.
How long has this been going on?
It's been, we started June, I don't have the exact date, but I think it's been about 4 weeks now. Approximately 4 weeks.
Is it because of lack of payment, or where is that?
Yeah, lack of payment.
Lack of payment, lack of payment for the alarm system, which is Johnson Control. Well, they're backlogged, but the main reason they haven't come out is lack of payment, yes.
But there are some parts that need to be replaced?
Some
or is it-
electrical stuff that needs to get done to the pump, and the cost to fix the pump is about $6,000. Aside the money we already owe them.
How much are we owing?
15,956.
10,000?
15,000
So,
something,
so around 21,000.
approximately, yes.
And how much is it costing to have somebody lower your name?
The security guard is charging $15 an hour, and that's because he gave us that price. Normally it would be $18 an hour. And then staff is doing 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. So all that is, some of it is OT, especially on the weekend. And it depends on the salaries.
What are we, the outstanding invoices, is it like 200,000 that we owe?
272,000, I think, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
included, there's this, the vendor aging report that, that Capstone had provided. So there you can see, they detailed some of the invoices. Pepe did ask for the detailed invoices to make sure, so, staff went ahead and put this together, you all can see. Some of them are, they're interesting because some of them, when we called, like Chem Aqua, when we actually called them, they said some of those invoices were paid. So our numbers that we verified were not. So there is some accounting, I think, discrepancies between what Capstone has, because even, Patriot also, right? They did mention that some of those invoices were already paid. So I really stress that, I mean, as a board, maybe you really need Capstone to take a good look at what their accounting is reporting, because when we call some of them, now of course some other ones are older, and like Ariano's does have the most, but of course, Humberto can give you more details.
And
But
who's paying for this overtime and everything?
I'm sorry,
Who's paying for the securities?
payroll, the site,
So you can negotiate like what you're paying them, you can give them every week? Because you're racking up more expenses.
I don't know, we could raise that question to Ms.
What are you
McCarran.
paying in security? So you know what, we can pay you this much every 2 weeks, or what is payroll? And do this, and we'll pay you this, because
That's a question that can be raised to Ms. Quintana. I wouldn't be able to answer that for you.
they're racking up
That's what should be done.
expenses, and then when are you fixing it?
True.
You know, it's gonna continue, if we don't pay, it's gonna continue forever.
We don't understand why Capstone has chosen to stop paying invoices,
Yes.
but then incurring other costs.
Yes.
So why,
That's
yes,
an idea.
we don't understand that, and we couldn't make it, I mean, I can't see that, a justification for that either. We did also on your packet, we went ahead, well, Mr. Pepe Zuniga also requested a timesheet from each, because also if you notice payroll in the last couple of months have gone increasingly high, not just the contract labor, but overall. So they did give you a time card to say how many staff members they're borrowing. We did see some discrepancies, like there was a little one that someone's not from there. They should have been, they're from the other unit, another apartment complex, and they were charged here. So I'm sure that that's an adjustment that could be done by Capstone. But I think they really need to start looking at their time cards also, because it makes it seem like there's 5 or 6 people at any given time at Hamilton, and I mean, yeah, I don't know, so that was the other question on, normally your payroll expenses on a month would be 15 to 12, I think I had some notes, and then, these last couple of months, they went up to like $25,000 per month, $25,000 for staff of, what it was approved by you all was 2.5 or 3 staff members.
Yes.
So that wasn't adding up either.
Do you know that? No, sorry.
The staff,
Yes.
there's 2 maintenance, the assistant manager. I go there, all my hours are not allocated to Hamilton, only the days that I go there. And then a housekeeper that goes twice a week.
That's 4.5.
Yeah,
That's 3 full-time, 1 part-time.
So Hernandez is what, full-time?
And
Who's Hernandez? What's he or she, his or her? Who's Hernandez?
Hernandez is, was borrowed for the site. Lopez is full-time,
Borrowed to do what?
AC.
And then Lopez?
Lopez is full-time, and then that's me, I'm only there certain days. Ramirez Zuniga is the housekeeper, she's only there certain days. Ramos is borrowed, and then Rivera is borrowed, and then Julio is full-time, and then Walker allocated some time like that.
Sarah, can you tell me, like, Air Troll Supply, what do they do?
Airtrol is, Airtrol's is, AC supply company. They
AC
provide.
supply.
Yes. Mhm.
And then Arellano, BG Staffing, what do they do?
They provided a temp employee, which is Ms. Lopez. She was hired through the temp agency.
If you go back to the spreadsheets, Capstone provided copies of the invoices that were apparently outstanding.
Right.
So all we did is, we got those spreadsheets, we got the copies of the invoices, we contacted the vendors,
Each one of them?
just to verify, to see
The balance.
if those numbers match to what they had in their receivables. Some of the items have been paid,
So is it as bad as 270, or, I mean,
no, I guess it's probably around that amount anyway, but there are some discrepancies anyway. For example, there was one invoice where Patriot Fire Security, and they told us that invoice was for Clark's Crossing, not for Hamilton. So I don't know, who reviews these or the type of control that they have as far as their accounting and their accounts payable, to verify anything else from before that might have been paid,
From here,
for
and
others,
it's not from there.
yeah.
The other item that was kind of alarming was when we called Arellano actually told us, well, sometimes we get calls from tenants. And they go,
Tenants don't call.
they're stating to us that some of those invoices are when they've gone to assist tenants. And so Capstone needs to make it very clear to Arellano that they should not be doing any, or billing them. I mean, they can go and do work for any tenant that they want, but there has to be a control where maybe Capstone has, they have to verify, was that a call that they were provided through Capstone or through a tenant? Because he stated to us that a lot of those invoices.
We have to sign off to the invoices for Arellano, so.
So none of
the
them
work
had-
orders from Arellano.
We didn't see signatures. I was checking. I didn't see signatures. Am I wrong? I didn't see signatures from,
Yeah, well.
but those are not, those are signatures from Arellano. I don't see any signatures there.
I mean for Arellano, not for, there's a workflow approval process for the invoices.
So, like, you signed the invoice itself?
Not the invoice, the work order. Whenever they came on site, we have to sign, and they're either signed.
But some of them don't have any signatures.
Perfect. So then maybe those that
Should,
don't, yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe those that don't have signatures, reach out to your accounting department and tell them not to include them. Because those were not authorized by you. And this is Arellano telling us, some of those invoices, they've gone by a call by a tenant. So then they have to charge that tenant. I mean, Arellano's responsible, they showed up, they're responsible for that tenant to pay them, but not Capstone. So again, I stress that Capstone should really look at these invoices and make sure that are all these actually owed by Capstone.
Because the total balance that you all provided, that is owed was $42,210. And when we compare it against what they have, they had a total of $51,499. So it was like $9,000 more, and they were old invoices. Now, of course, Capstone has to verify that some of these did get paid.
no matter what?
And they would have to, I guess, show proof,
Yeah,
because Arellano's saying that, he sold that money.
the 51.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's Chadwell? What do they do? Chadwell Supply.
It's
Because we owe them $10,000, right?
supply, like plumbing, everything, appliances there. It's like a HD Supply. We normally use them or HD Supply for anything that's needed for the property, from filters to plumbing supplies to cleaning supplies, all that.
Aquachem, what do we buy from them?
They do the water treatment for the HVAC system.
The chiller.
For the chiller. Mhm.
That's what I thought. HD Supply is the other big one that you said you
Yes.
use, you know. Intersolutions, what do they do?
They're a temp agency.
Okay.
Mhm.
Johnson Control of the Fire, Johnson Supply, okay. Cryo Sarah, or
It's a copier.
okay, is the Otis, okay, Patriot Fire, también. Steam, Ramsa, Electric, what do they do? They own 41,000.
So they did the motors for the chiller back in January.
$41,000?
Yes.
Rasa Floor, we own 11,000, what do they do?
They do the VCT for the units, for the churns, whenever to remove the carpet and do the flooring.
And that stuff was done recently, or these are very
No,
old?
those are, some of them are old. We haven't done flooring since
We haven't been filming in a while.
April or March, something like that.
No, but this is 23. I guess Mr. Gonzalez is asking like before, like years back.
No,
Is it recent?
I want to see, where did the 11,000 come from? I didn't know that we were repairing flooring. I know that one time we did repair flooring.
No, these are for the units, for the apartments.
See, I know.
I know, but these are as recent as of April, May, and
It
May.
says 100 days aging already. On one of them, the one says 317.
From what units it was replaced here, I thought that, I mean, the
Yeah, that's
vacancies are, we don't rent them because they're not ready, so what are we replacing?
These were units that were done and were already rented. This is, I guess, going back, maybe April, May, as last time that flooring was done was probably May.
But where are we spending money in floors right now, when we're like tied with, budget?
We were instructed to delete the old carpet, because it's the carpets in the units, the original carpet from 1999. So we were instructed to remove carpets and do
By
VCT
who?
flooring. By you.
But a long time ago, didn't we?
Yeah, a long time
Yeah,
ago.
but we didn't know we owed $200, we didn't have money. Because our accounting was never correct.
But,
We would have never approved that.
yeah. The Rasa Flooring, we own something from 317 days ago, so that was old. Real Page, what do they do?
They do the screenings and stuff for the applications that are done, and they're part of the program that we use for invoicing.
Okay, well, 17,000. Red Capital Group,
That's your mortgage.
we owe them 41,000.
That's current. That's, I think, this month, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
July.
They owe you, is that $4,000 of mileage?
Yes, well, it's not mileage, it's expense.
What type of expenses?
I had to pay an emergency for a welder to come and weld one of the fans for the chiller on the 4th of July. And then he had to come back 2 days later to do additional work so the chiller could work.
You
paid it all, you paid it all.
Yes, yes.
They let you do that?
Not as a routine, but it was an emergency, or your
That's what it
clients, the tenants would have been,
Without AC?
yes,
Okay.
without AC on the hottest days.
Yeah. It's good that you did.
When are they gonna pay me? I don't know, but it's okay.
Termite $6,000, so that's only $273.
So what does Capstone, what's their plan, or they're not gonna pay any of this? Do they have the money and they just don't wanna?
I really don't know, to be honest. I think that is a question for Renata.
Because she had said that with the new rents or whatever that we were gonna start, that at least we would get $5,000 a month. Has that happened? That
I
you know?
mean, the rents come in, and we are collecting rents. Occupancy has remained steady. I mean, we're at like 90, we dropped down to 90, I think. But it's been
So how many
trending.
units do we not
At the
have rent?
moment,
Yeah, right
at the
now.
moment, that are not ready,
They're not ready,
about 17.
that many?
Mm-hmm.
Good. I thought it was 13 before, or
It was, now it's that.
17,
Yes.
so that's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to do?
Well, I know it's not your fault, but it just seems that Capstone can't do what they're supposed to be doing, so the next item talks about proposing a new management company, and I think we need to vote on that and start looking, because we're digging a big hole, and it's gonna affect the elderly, and I don't see it getting better. We have nothing personal against you or Capstone, but
I'm taken.
I just have another question going back to the employees. Who's Julia Bedia?
Julio Bedia is the tech there. He's a full-time.
Okay, well, so he's a tech, like technician?
He's a maintenance, yes.
So he's working overtime, ahorita, a lot of hours.
So you haven't been able to hire somebody else for maintenance?
We hired somebody, and that is Mr., he's not even showing on here, Caballero.
But why is this guy having to work like a lot of work hours?
A lot of hours. Like I said, we're doing fire watch. We've been doing fire watch for almost a month. Well, I think it's already a month.
Well-
Plus, they do OT for the trash disposal on the weekends. They have to come on the weekends.
Okay,
And
but
they
like,
rotate.
like you're saying that we're doing the fire watch, like
Mhm.
maybe like 3-4 weeks ago, but it looks like in March, April,
Yeah.
he's carrying like lots of hours.
He was alone. We didn't hire another tech, so barely, I don't have a date for Mr. Caballero. I think it was in, oh gosh, June?
I never did.
Here it is. He started in, yeah,
What's gonna
June.
make, what's gonna be, what's the date for this?
of course, that's what we're trying to find out. But
I know the board had discussed in previous meetings about requesting that trash doesn't get picked up on the weekends. I can go back and see if you all actually voted on that, and if Capstone, but remember that was a discussion a few months ago.
We had
that
proposed that we.
Put signs up and say.
And we did do signs and stuff, but on Monday morning, when maintenance comes in at 7 AM, trash was already up to the second floor.
in the chutes,
And the chutes.
we've got the.
Even though we had locked them, how it ended up there, I have no idea. Somehow unlocked or whatever, and then the basement, they would just throw the bags there.
You know, even though we said to do that, that's a fire hazard, so I don't,
Well, no, because remember, the idea was that you would say, like everyone's trash pickup, I mean, in your own property, you don't get
You
trash
don't get it on the
pickup,
weekends.
but once a week, right? Once a week. So what was suggested was that they close out the chutes, they let the tenants know to keep their trash on Fridays, and not to put them in the, but, so,
So
I mean, how
how-
much
how is the
trash
trash-
can they have
They come
in
on-
2 days?
What, they pick up trash what? How often?
6 days a week.
Okay, so there shouldn't be like.
it should be 2 stories full of trash.
On the weekend.
And the basement, they have access to the basement, or
Yes.
why?
I mean, that's where the elevator goes for the laundry room.
So sorry, you're saying
Yeah,
that,
we can put like a door there for the trash, so they don't go in there, or what?
but even then,
But the trash is coming in, they're dropping them from,
The chute, but then there's the recycle bins, and then solid waste, who picks up the recycle bin, solid waste? The residents would go throw the trash in the recycle bins, and that was called to our attention also. So, once we call that to their attention, they would just go leave the trash in the basement, so it was like,
So I
it's
guess
chaotic.
if you make a meeting with them and explain to
did.
them and then maybe fine them?
We
Because I
did.
guess in every apartment unit, you have to follow rules. If you don't, you get a fine
Yes,
or leave violation,
yes, you do.
because
But let me ask you, so you're saying that they pick up trash Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Saturday.
and Saturday? So why, when you're saying that the overtime is because he has to come in and pick up the trash and take out the trash? What,
They have to haul it from the building to the post office to take out the trash twice, Saturday morning, Saturday
Why the post
afternoon.
office?
Because we have that's where we have the 8-yard bin.
but I don't think, I don't know, I'm just thinking like, I mean, we are talking about 90 people that live here, but I would think that
There's over 100.
Okay, let's say 100 people, but, that means that they're accumulating the trash for Saturday and Sunday.
No, the trash is disposed.
They come on
anyway.
Saturday.
They come on Saturday.
Okay, so Sunday, I mean, I think that.
200 trash bags, let's say.
Yeah.
2 per house, that's.
I'm just thinking that, there's.
On a daily
Yeah,
basis,
The logic would
In
be in one day. I mean, most of the
you
time,
would be
probably they're not
surprised.
here.
You would be surprised.
Well, I think that we're trying to kind of like, somebody said earlier, we're trying to like not pay invoices because we're trying to, we don't have money, but we're spending the money somewhere else that probably not even justified. I think it's mismanagement.
In reality,
probably.
it should be Capstone,
Paying for that. But that's why they're doing the service.
yeah, they should think of ways to, manage the money, the funds better, so that they will be able to pay what is owed to the vendors. And it seems like it's really not happening. We had
We're trying to
suggested,
spend more.
we had suggested some time ago, for them to go out for bids for maintenance, for, the security guard. For example, you're paying $15 for this, per hour security guard, which is what the city pays. But you said you're getting like a discount, and per contract, that's how much they're charging us, the city.
Yeah.
So if they go out for bids, they'll get a set rate too. As far as the maintenance, they will get charged by hour. We told them months ago, to do that, to save money, because right now, they're calling Arellanos, and they're not getting charged by the hour, they're getting charged for the call, for the project, whatever it is that they're gonna do. $200, $300, $400 they're gonna charge, instead of, $20 per hour or so, something like that.
So one of the things, once we pay Ariana, whatever, we gotta negotiate that and say, we're not gonna do it this way anymore. Give us a discount or whatever, and
Or get a.
Or a rate.
Captain is supposed to go out for bids
And-
to
and
try
do
to
that.
get, the better deal.
yeah.
And that's for parts also, AC parts, plumbing parts. Like the city, we have contracts and, we get like a list, or we provide a list to different vendors, okay, give me your prices, and then we issue a contract based on the prices.
So as far as you know, there's no real plan to fix all of this, because you guys have been saying, not you, but Capstone's been saying, we don't have money, we can't pay anybody. We're stuck. No? Is that where we're at?
Probably.
But I think honestly that, if we owe this much and this company has been managing and supposed to be managing, I mean, I understand that we're off budget a few $1,000s, but when we're running and they're responsible for paying these invoices, making sure that, it flows, I don't see how they're not supposed to be paid. And how do they
And
expect
is
to
Capstone
continue?
getting paid for themselves, for their services?
Yes, the management fee.
And why don't they help out not paying themselves and paying the fees? Like, they do pay themselves, but they don't pay the other contractors. So that's not in good faith either.
Exactly. I mean, the meeting is recorded. Ms. Renata and Ms. Walker can go back and review it, and
Sure.
then they'll answer your questions, I guess.
It was also discussed about the commissions, they mentioned in one of the meetings that they were not paying commissions anymore. But in the expenses, we do see that.
what do we do?
I mean, we don't have money to pay.
Yeah.
So we don't have money to pay. So I think that we need to find out where they're gonna come up with the money to pay.
Yes.
You can motion for Capstone to provide you a plan in the next 30 days or in the next 15 days on how are they gonna cut expenses or how are they gonna be able to balance a budget and get themselves on a payment plan with each of these,
Yes.
each of these vendors to ensure, because, I mean, saying you're not gonna pay any vendor, and that's in an email, saying we're not paying any vendors, that's not a solution, because they're still receiving the same amount of, I just saw their rents, their cash flow is still about $92,000 a month. So if they're receiving $92,000 a month, now, and this is just looking at their 12-month income statement. If you look at their payroll is the biggest expense, right? So I know these last 2 months have shown an increase in payroll, which you all have questioned. You know, even that payroll's taking about 25,000, 20,000. Previously, you were seeing 16, 10, 16, 16. So it looks like the average might have been anywhere between 16 to, so now you're seeing 21 and 25, and that's of April and May. So one, why this increase? I think you all need a real risk, like a response from the management company on why are these increases going up, but yet you're not being able to pay the vendors that are coming and servicing. Yet everything else looks like, I mean, you are steadily receiving your 92,000 of rents. I know it was budgeted to be receiving 95, but again,
It's a $3,000.
it's a 3,000. Will 3,000 really put you in this type of deficit? So something is really, I think worth looking at and really making sure that they are managing your apartment complex and the funds correctly. So I honestly think maybe a motion for you all to request an in-depth and an explanation to all your questions is merited from the Capstone.
And then we need to have a plan for payroll expenses, for material expenses, how they're gonna purchase, for the contractual services. And even for any capital improvements that are needed.
And for them to review the invoices to making sure that they're not paid, having paid before.
And they just haven't written them off.
Correct.
Yes.
So there's a motion for Capstone to come up with a plan or review on how to
Address.
address these invoices for payment.
One second.
Okay, second by Jorge Gonzalez.
All in favor?
Anybody, Juan Gonzalez?
All in
Yeah,
favor?
You all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so I guess it's related to the next one, right? The next item is discussion with possible action on the request for proposal of a new management company for the Hamilton Apartments and any other matters, incidents.
Now, what you have in your packet is an RFP that was put together. Now, again, you are currently working with Capstone on a month-to-month contract. So even that, it has been discussed in the previous months that even that, is very outdated. The percentage that they're getting through their
Percentage of revenue.
management fees and all that. I think it's worth to revisit, and I think the only way you can do it is by putting a new RFP out. Again, if Capstone is still interested and they can give you all a better deal, I think they're welcome to address this RFP also. But I think this will also give you the opportunity to really negotiate a management deal that can, better help you all and better affect the apartment complex and hopefully continue to be providing this affordable housing in our community. So I think it's really worth you all, let me know if there's any suggestions or any changes, if you all have a specific date that you would like to put it out. Normally, and this would be something that would have to be done as the board, so well, we can help you through that, but the board would have to pay for the advertisement of the newspaper. It wouldn't go through the city, because I wouldn't want them to get confused and, think that because with the city comes a lot of other requirements. So I would suggest that maybe if you all have any comments or anything you would like to add to this, let me know. If there's a specific timeline that you all want to work on, like the next 15 days, maybe we can get you. And of course, you can always give the power to your board president to, sign off on the advertisement cost. And usually advertisement cost can be anywhere from $600. Usually when we do our yeah. You get $300 to $600. It just depends on how wordy we can put. Normally we'll you advertise in the newspaper. If anybody knows of any management company out there, we can forward these emails to them. Then you would set a date for them. You would set a parameter for the RFP to be out. Normally RFPs, you can give them 30, 45 days. Then, we'll get responses from any, company that is interested. You can do a small, you can evaluate them as a full board or as a smaller board, like a subcommittee. Yeah, subcommittee would have to be two people. You can't be three. You can review them as a subcommittee and then determine maybe, which one you bring to the board. Those are some of the items that we can do. I also suggested any matters incident there too. I know I wrote it that way also to say you might want to start looking at any legal counsel also. I could ask our legal team to provide any suggestions, or if you all want to provide any suggestions maybe for the next for the next board meeting. And legal counsel can also assist you with this, or with any other proposals that come to the corporation. For example, the proposal that y'all are entertaining with
And the drafting of the contract.
and drafting of contracts and all that. So I think it would be beneficial for the board to seek some legal counsel.
Couple of questions. The original contract that we had with Capstone or whatever the Hamilton was since 2001, right?
Correct.
And that was never updated, because you just said that we're on a month-to-month.
Correct.
When did the month-to-month happen?
I would need to go back and look
I
at.
don't remember it
Yeah.
being month-to-month.
It's because
I know that we
didn't
had
think there
the
was a
original
date.
contract, but I don't remember us switching to month-to-month.
It had like kind of like the contract itself. I don't remember.
But, so for sure we're on a month-to-month with Capstone?
Yes, it's never been extended.
Well, this would be a good time to do the RFP and renegotiate with Capstone if they want to apply again or whatever, and just get everything in order, because that's a 22-year-old contract.
Now, this RFP is based on the RFPs created for the city, for city contracts, yes. But if you would like to add, anything else, make changes, just let us know.
Okay, I'm gonna move that we get the names of legal counsel so that we can start looking at getting somebody to help us with this RFP or any other proposals that come up. Because we need to do that. We need to make sure we have somebody from legal looking at what we're about to do, or what we're doing. So, I made that motion. I don't know if you want to call for a vote.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. So we're gonna do that.
I just want to make a comment on the invoices that are pending, and I think that these invoices were ordered, administered through Capstone, so I think that the responsibility should be to them. When if they feel that it's way too many invoices that are outstanding, they need to do a better job in finding out who ordered the invoices, what services, and if it merit, and then they can negotiate with the vendors. But I think because they were done during their administration, I think they need to find out a solution and a payment plan for these invoices. I mean, you don't order and you don't order service or just like knowing that you're not gonna pay. I mean, you don't do that. People don't do that. I mean, we don't go and order services and then say, oh, well, maybe I'll pay you or not pay you. When the service is delivered, we have an obligation to pay, and they had an obligation to pay.
That's what they were hired for.
That's what they were hired for, to manage, and part of the management is to make sure that any invoices, any services that are done in this facility are paid. That is what I think should be happening.
And another thing to note, when you look at the, I believe it's this, it seems that they went ahead and so when you look at their 12-month trial income statement, it seems that in May, they decided to add all these invoices. So that's alarming also. Why did they choose, instead of, some of those invoices are very old, so why weren't they added to the month's worth services? I understand maybe there's a 30-day delay by the time you get the invoice you submitted, but in some of these cases, and I'll just be very, so remuneration cost, if you look at it, there was no invoices coming in January, February, March, April, there's 0, and then in May, they put in 4,600 worth of invoices. So does that mean that services were done the previous month, or are these, well, now we're seeing that all these were old invoices. Another example is HVAC. That's very inconsistent. So if you go back to like even September, there's no invoices, October, no invoices, November, $200, December, January, there was 22,000, February, there's 22,000 worth of invoices, so I'm thinking they were backlogged. March, there's nothing. April, there's 4,000, and then May, again, 10,000 goes in. So this happens to all those line items. It's alarming that they're not keeping up with the invoices on a month-to-month. So now, what's to say that, are these true invoices, are these old invoices? How do you manage something where in 1 month, yeah, so in 1 month you added $50,000 of invoices. Well, of course, that's gonna look like you can't pay that month, but because they weren't incurred in a month. So that is the other thing that we've been, struggling with understanding of how do you say, well, of course you don't have the money budgeted this month to pay because these are not invoices from 1 month. So that's just another thing to look at.
And it's a good point, and just looking at the Arellano plumbing, I mean, the plumber comes, like, there's weeks that he comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I mean, is it just, why would you have to come every single day? Like, I mean, I understand, maybe occasionally, but there's invoices here that are being billed for 7 days in a row.
No, there's some of the invoices like the Arellano, and on the description it says excess of wipes. So in those cases, are we trying it to the attention of the tenant? Are we charging them for that call, or which is part of managing the hotel.
So then getting the legal is to be able to go out on an RFP, right? That's part of the motion?
I would suggest, yes, that you can have a third party look at this RFP and maybe make any suggestions on what other items, and then help you draft that contract, more importantly, and the draft, because I don't know if a management company might want to negotiate an RFP, but will want to see that contract first.
And are we including there that after that is done, go out for an RFP?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that can be your motion.
Yes.
Do it that way.
Yeah.
That's my motion. Yeah. And again, Capstone can apply. I mean, if we're on a month-to-month, they can apply as well. But we need to plan on how to pay all of this stuff first.
That was the end of the agenda. So it's,
Do we have to, we already voted on going for RFP?
Well, you voted to get, legal counsel. I'll provide you all some, I mean, we can always have a special meeting, and if I find someone, if not, if for the next meeting, maybe we can have some, suggestions on some legal counsel. I would really suggest that you if you put an RFP out with certain of these, you're gonna get someone to ask some questions that maybe we're not able to answer at that time.
But it's already covered in what we're.
Yes, your motion for us to start, assisting you finding some legal counsel.
okay, so it's 1 o'clock, that meeting adjourned.
That's a move.
Thank you.
Very good.